center was founded in 1973 by Marty Strange and Don Ralston.
The center can trace its origins to the Goldenrod Hills Community Action Agency in Walt Hill, Nebraska. Coming off of a sweeping re-election campaign the previous November, President Richard M. Nixon decided to eliminate the federal anti-poverty campaigns in January 1973. The Goldenrod Hills Board of Directors thought that there was still a need for such programs in Nebraska, and they decided to defy orders from the federal government to shut down. The government sent numerous memos with instructions on how to close down operations. Soon afterwards, the executive director and the board of Goldenrod Hills asked Don Ralston and Marty Strange, a Goldenrod Hills planner, to develop a plan to preserve the service and advocacy programs of Goldenrod Hills. The result of this was the nonprofit Center for Rural Affairs in September 1973.
That kind of also implies that all of rural America has the same problems, and that's not necessarily true. Like, rural America is pretty diverse. And
what is the mission?
Oh my gosh, I can't tell you word for word, except for the fact it is to improve the lives of all people in rural America.
I think the most important thing facing us is creating economic opportunity here.
The name Center for Rural Affairs was created by Ralston and Strange on a train between New York City and Washington, D.C. Center was in vogue at the time among similar organizations and had an important sounding ring to it. Rural was a no-brainer considering the location Walt Hill and the issues the center would work on. The last word was the hardest to come up with, but affairs had the meaning of working on issues and using mutual action for the common good. So the Center for Rural Affairs was born.
The windmill project started when we were trying to find a project that could make some money, hopefully, to go into community development for our rural communities.
The center began its work with two major investigative research projects. First, who will sit up with the corporate sow, an examination of large-scale hog operations, the public policy that favored them, and the impact they have on family farms and rural communities. In 1997, the National Pork Producers Council, undertaking a secret review of organizations opposed to large-scale hog operations, called the center and this report in particular the most objective and thorough in their analysis of the hog industry. And second, Wheels of Fortune was an examination of new irrigation technology on land ownerships and use in Nebraska. Both reports anticipate what have become major issues for rural communities in Nebraska, the Great Plains, and the nation. In 1976, the center launched its Small Farm Energy Project, a 3-year research and demonstration program showing how small farms could reduce energy use and increase their profitability. In 1990, the center published the first of several reports detailing poverty in rural Nebraska and the rural Great Plains and pointing out the growing economic disparity between rural and urban areas in the region. In 1982, the center and several partner organizations led a fight to place an initiative on the state ballot that generally outlaw ownerships of agricultural land and prohibit farming and ranching by corporations except for family farm corporations. Known as Initiative 300, it was adopted by the voters of the state with 54% of the vote and became the toughest corporate farming law in the nation. It survived many legal and political challenges until ultimately ruled a violation of the Constitution's Commerce Clause by federal courts in 2006. There have been many changes at the center in the past decade. Founder Marty Strange left the center in 1996. Chuck Hasbrook was named as his replacement as program director. In 2001, Don Ralston, the last original center founder, retired and Chuck was named executive director. In 2004, the center left its original building in Walt Hill and moved to a new building in Lyons. From its humble beginnings, the center is now a nationally respected rural research, public policy development, and economic development organization, now with an annual budget of $2.5 million, and 31 staff rooms and lines, Arlington, Nebraska, and Washington, D.C., with REAP offices in Minden, Seward, South Sioux City, Tecumseh, Atkinson, Plymouth, and Morrill.
It's great. It's the center is actually the best work environment I've ever worked in.
We have to go out and create our own opportunities, and that's really what the center is about. It's about helping rural people create genuine opportunities for themselves and their neighbors.